What's up, everyone? This is Will Dorsey Jr. of Talk Music Podcast. Thank you for coming back and watching another episode with me. My next guest is Demian Arriaga. He's a percussionist for Jonas Brothers, Miley Cyrus, Demian Arriaga. That's just to name a few. He's done some great stuff in drumming for Richie Sambora, which I just learned about that. And I mean, incredible story here. Everybody, welcome Demian Arriaga.
Welcome to Talk Music with Will Dorsey Jr.
Every month,
Our host Will is going to interview musicians from around the world and talk everything music. Our listeners range from professionals to recreational musicians who want to learn more about the industry, their instruments, and the community of top musicians. So join us, subscribe, and keep up with Talk Music.
visit us on www.talkmusicpodcast.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast on Apple, Google, Amazon, and Spotify.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, eRecord Studio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their eRecord sessions on social media. Visit ERS on eRecordstudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Yo, Damian.
Dude,
How you doing, man?
I am so pumped to be here. It's so good to see you. It's been a minute. Look at that hair. Look at that beard. Look at that Grammy.
Oh, man.
Look at that
man.
Darth. I mean,
Yeah.
this is gonna be fun, man.
Yeah. I just like Darth Vader and whatnot, and Star Wars and
Yes.
whatever. It's just one of my things. Sorry.
No apologies. I love it. Dude, look at this nonsense.
I'm gonna do a whole introduction for you, and let people know who you are. This is everybody. This is Demian Arriaga.
Arriaga, I'll say it. for you.
Arriaga.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. He played percussion for Jonas Brothers, Miley Cyrus, Iggy Azalea, and Demi Lovato. Man, but he's also a teacher as well. We get into all that stuff. But yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I'm very excited to see you. It's been a minute. I'm very just proud of you. I'm
Oh, man.
ecstatic to catch up and talk some music stuff. And also honored to be here. You've had some amazing guests, people that I admire and respect, and some
Oh,
some
man.
some have been friends of mine.
Yeah,
So I'm stoked, man. Thank you for having me.
dude, man. Just thank you even for doing this, man. I've been wanting to get you on for a while, me personally. So I just wanted to say, oh, which guys were you into when you were checking this out?
Well, so I saw Josh Paul, amazing bass player. Obviously, we did a gig with Orianthi together, monster bassist.
Yeah.
Johnny Good, Johnny Drummond.
Oh,
Yeah, we did
really?
a tour. Oh yeah, we did a tour with Joe Jonas. It was Tony Royster on drums, Johnny on bass, Jinju, this girl Jinju on guitar, Chris Moten on keys, and me on percussion. This was for Joe Jonas.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
I've known Johnny Good for a long time, and again, super proud of him.
Yeah.
Amnich, what a great band
Yes.
with our boy Tosh,
Oh my
who
gosh,
I
man. They're
love.
they're sick, man.
They're unbelievable. And yeah, so and who else was at the show? Fred Aking, who's a drummer that I don't know personally. I
Yeah.
even forget where he's from, but I know he's my Latino brother.
Yeah.
And he's a monster, and he's been recently popping up a lot on my feed because of some stuff with David Ellefson, who I
Hmm.
love. and I'm obsessed with Megadeth. So
Yeah.
to see him flourish and be, represent us and do stuff that we have always wanted to do, and one of the few sort of Latinos that gets to be in the thrash world, that's pretty incredible. So yeah, it's awesome, man. I'm excited.
That's dope, man. That is
Yeah.
so dope, man. Man, can you explain people of how you and I met?
Yes. Oh, how can I forget? So in January of 2029, I moved to LA, and I moved with essentially nothing, very few savings, and some contacts here and there, and dreams of being somebody in this city.
Yeah.
And what do? You go to Guitar Center in Sherman Oaks, because the one in Hollywood was too far from where I lived.
Yeah.
I lived in Sherman Oaks. I didn't have a car, so I walked to the Guitar Center.
There you go.
And we met. And I remember Andrew Dice Clay was trying some cymbals in a corner.
Oh.
And I was like, holy shit, welcome to LA.
Yeah.
So you and I met. You had your dreadlocks and your bandana, and we started geeking out, and you were so welcoming to me and being there, and excited that I had just moved like days prior, if not a day before. And I think a week later or so, I was there to purchase my first drum set, which you sold to me for a very suspicious low price.
Nice.
Which will remain undiscussed.
Right, yeah.
I loved, and it was a lifesaver. It was a Pearl Export, a silver sparkle Pearl Export that saved me and allowed me to have the tools to create. I still have the PDP stands that you sold me, and they still work, by the way. Shout out to W and PDP.
There you go.
They still work, and they have a very special place in my heart because you sold them to me.
Awesome.
And that's how we met. So you sold me that kit, and then people should know this, and we might talk about this later.
Okay.
You would drive from Rancho Cucamonga, which is far as hell, to Sherman Oaks, with a trip to work. And if you hadn't committed yourself to that trip, you and I wouldn't have met, and I wouldn't have had a drum kit, and I would have had potentially a different path. Who knows? So that's how we met, and I've been keeping an eye on you as much as possible. I always tell you how proud I am of you and your success, and being part of a very important band that doesn't get as much love as it should because of who knows what social political bullshit happens from time to time in this country. But Body Count is nothing short of a legendary band, and I'm so happy to see you. And of course, all of the stuff you've done with The Offspring. It's absurd. Shout out to Todd Morris, who I love as well.
Oh, Todd.
Yeah, we I wouldn't say we go way back, but I grew up, we'll talk about this later, but I'm a massive H2O fan. Like, the reason why I'm straight edge now, like Toby and Todd, and through the years, I became friends with Toby. And I eventually met Todd at a Soundcheck Live thing here in LA, and we started talking, and eventually I jammed with H2O kind of during the pandemic. We did an acoustic thing, and he's just a guy that I respect, and his guitar playing was foundational to my growth as a person and musician through his guitars, hymns, and Rusty's guitars. It set the harmonic background for Toby's lyrics, and me understanding about straight edge and positivity and PMA and all these things that were very important at a very important point in my life. So Todd will always be somebody that I hold near and dear to my heart, directly and indirectly because of that band specifically. So yeah, freaking love that guy. So I'm glad that you guys get to play. Your friends, and
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know you knew that. You knew that. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, I keep an eye on you. Very proud of you. Stoked that you're here.
Thank you.
I'm very happy that you're doing these podcasts and sharing people's stories and building a community and all that good stuff that it's definitely needed.
Man. Dude,
man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for watching us, man.
Of course. Absolutely.
So our research team found out that you're from Venezuela.
Yes.
So were you born and raised there, or?
I was born and raised in Caracas, the capital, and to wonderful parents and an amazing sister, a great family, music playing all the time in my house, all kinds of music, very heavy into classic rock, a lot of Beatles. My mom was obsessed with the Beatles. My dad was obsessed with the Stones, Queen, David Bowie, and a lot of salsa music. There was not a day where you didn't listen to salsa in my household, essentially.
Right.
So I grew up loving those two worlds a lot, rock and salsa, Latin, a lot of Latin jazz, a lot of Tito Puente, a lot of Eddie Palmieri and all those things were paramount in my home. And my dad, he wasn't a professional musician or percussionist, but he loved percussion. So he always had congas and bongos laying around. He played bongos a lot in parties and stuff like that. So I would see him play and stuff. But like every self-respecting teenager, at some point you hate what your parents listen to. And then you summon the devil as closely as you can through the lovely sounds of Metallica and Megadeth.
Yeah.
And they just seep through my veins and my eyes and my ears, and I was a changed person
Right.
from then on out.
Dude.
Yeah.
What age was that when you were starting to get into that music?
I was
man?
young, man. I was like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
I was listening to that music, and I just loved it. There was something about watching. Well, I have to admit, the first thing really that got me into music, and you didn't ask me really about music in my childhood, but my first album that I ever would steal from my sister was Porno Graffiti by Extreme.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a life-shaping record, and I loved More Than Words so much. And I started getting into Mr. Big and Extreme. Those were like the two bands that I loved, Mr. Big and Extreme. Then sort of in Caracas, we were lucky enough to have in my household, in my apartment building, we had cable, and we had MTV. So I started watching Headbangers Ball, and I started watching all the videos, and I started watching Beavis and Butthead, and also like Bill and Ted, and all these things that were so like American rock to a degree, and mixed with some of the newish wave of British heavy metal type of stuff that was still being sort of played on Headbangers Ball. And you would have Merciful Fate, or you would have like Diamond Head and things like that, and it was just like the coolest, most dangerous thing. And then you would have like Typo Negative and all these things. It was just so dark, and I just loved it. This occult thing, the macabre. I was super into that stuff. And eventually my dad got me the Metallica Live Shit Binge and Purge box set.
Oh.
And up until that point, I had only heard, Enter Sandman here and there. I didn't even put two and two together. And I heard that, and that was, when I heard Creeping Death and Fade to Black.
Yeah.
Sanitarium, I just couldn't put that record down, and I would just listen to those 3 albums on repeat. And then eventually I started listening to And Justice for All, and I started listening to all these records. And then one day, about a week and a half after Euthanasia came out in 1994, my buddy gave me a copy of Megadeth's Euthanasia, and I heard it. And I was like, what is this? And then he gave me a copy of Countdown to Extinction.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I'm lying. The first thing he gave me was Countdown to Extinction. And Nick Menza's Phil on Skin of My Teeth.
Oh, man.
I was like, what the fuck is this? Can we cuss on this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that? And then up until that point, as you know, there's no right symbol on any Metallica record until it sleeps or something, right?
Yeah.
On load. And when I heard Nick Menza just going on that bell, I was like, what is this? This is a different thing. And then I put my Metallica records to a side, and I just became obsessed with Megadeth. This was, I was 12 years old, really, when I got really into that. And then my parents, we moved to Boston because my sister graduated high school and she had got accepted to a university in Boston. So we all moved to help her get settled to this suburb called Brookline, right next to Fenway Park. And when I got there, that's when I first sort of started skateboarding and kind of being on my own. And I would be the kid with a Discman and being like the music kid at school. It was like the immigrant kid, the metal kid, skateboarder. And it was really, really neat. And then a buddy of mine showed me H2O and and I was just blown away. But when he gave me that H2O record, I remember, obviously, for anybody that knows this, the first song from the album, 5-Year Plan, the self-titled record, the song 5-Year Plan, it says, "My friends look out for me like family. My mom's been struggling since I was 3," and all this other stuff happening. And I was just blown away by those types of lyrics. Before then, it was like The Conjuring by Megadeth, right? Like, you know, welcome to our sanguinary sect of worship and all that shit that I loved, right? Or Master of Puppets and back, of course, I was listening to heavier stuff. And of course, Get the Funk Out. And a green tinted 60s mind. And I just loved everything. I loved Skid Row and I loved Poison. I love all that stuff. But when I found hardcore, I heard those things. It was another sort of one of those, monumental, events where you're like, whoa, what is this? And I started sort of embracing more of that world, less produced, H2O, Youth of Today, Gorilla Biscuits, Sick of It All, and Strife, and all these bands that were like, they were just an assault to my ears and my face, and I just couldn't get enough of that music, and I couldn't even process what I was hearing, the tempo changes and the breakdowns and the heavy guitars, and I was like, why does this sound like metal, but it's not metal? It doesn't sound like Metallica records. It doesn't sound like Anthrax. What is this? So I just really liked that stuff. And a buddy of mine at that time, by the name of Fred Davidowitz and Nick Schmalanzi, they had a band in Boston, and it was all Misfits covers. And I joined the band, and it was like the greatest accomplishment ever. So I spent like a year just playing, We Are 138 and Skulls, and playing, Forbidden Zone, and playing all these songs that I just freaking love. Actually, I don't even know if Forbidden Zone was released back then, but it was like all these OG Misfit songs, and that was like the moment where I was like, okay, music is really, this is really fun. I think I might want to do this even more seriously.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah.
When you were a kid, when did you get involved with music?
Yeah, so around that 12, when I was into Metallica and all these bands, my parents signed me up for drum lessons because I had gotten a drum set because an older friend, a friend of my family who was a little bit older, he was like my idol, so I wanted to do whatever he did, this guy Luis. And Luis had a drum set, I wanted to have a drum set. If he played with red soccer cleats, I wanted red soccer cleats, whatever he wanted. So they got me a drum set, and they got me lessons, which was really cool at first, but it was a lot of like pad work, and I absolutely hated it, Will. I hate the idea of syncopation book, which I have right there. I hated, I would go into this guy's like storage unit, which he had. You would walk in, you open the door, and you would see this amazing Ludwig like silver kit wrapped. Yeah. And I would like be gravitated, and I would be like, oh, cool. And I would be like walking to the thing, and he would grab me by the shoulders and be like, no, sit here. So he would sit me here in a drum pad, and he was there like in front of me, and I was here. And the drum kit, like, don't look over there. It's over there. I hated it. And I love the guy now, and I learn a lot, but it was brutal. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this drum lessons. So I was kind of self-taught for a little bit. Then when I went to Boston, when I did move, I did have a teacher. He was amazing. Warren Grant is his name. We went over jazz, essentially, and some rock drum transcriptions. We were working on specific, Megadeth tunes. I remember we worked on Ashes in Your Mouth. And we would go over song structure, the length of, so up until then, it was all memory. At this time, I started listening to clusters of bars. Like an intro is 8 bars, or this intro is 8 bars, or this, this happens 5 bars instead of 4. And he kind of put me, and then I started listening to music in a slightly different way. Started listening to a lot of jazz, R&B, and all this other stuff. Again, thanks, because my sister also is a music lover. So she always had different kinds of music playing. And then we moved back to Venezuela 2 years later. This was in 97, and I finished high school there. And that's when I started thinking seriously about choosing what I wanted to do for my future. Yeah. But music was never really an option for me, or for a lot of us back then, because it was always associated with audio engineering. Very rarely would
Okay.
you ever hear of anybody that went to Berklee or went to this or went to Miami University. And almost when they always did, it was for audio engineering or production. And
Yeah.
I didn't want anything to do with any of that. I don't have a good math brain or scientific brain.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, anything having to do with numbers, with statistics, with remembering stuff in cable orders and signal to noise ratio, and what a compressor does in
Yeah.
a DAW and number. I didn't want
Yeah.
any of that. So it was okay. There's no option for me to study music seriously here. So I decided to do sociology in college when I graduated,
Oh.
because that was kind of what I did. A survey. I literally did a survey with a counselor, and what it spat out was, you could be a psychologist or a sociologist or something else, and I picked sociology.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to college for that for half a year. I hated it, as you can imagine. It was really, really rough. Excuse me, not loving what you do. And it
Yeah.
was very, very strange. I up until that point, I was kind of spoiled with life, in that I always kind of did cool stuff and what I wanted, and I never knew what it was to do something against your will, essentially. And it was pretty rough, and I decided to quit.
Oh.
Yeah, I quit in about 3 or 4 months after I started. And then I was in no man's land. I didn't know what to do, but my parents encouraged me to sort of stay the course and figure out what I wanted to do and take my time. Thankfully, I have very, very supportive parents and family in general.
Mm.
And eventually they were like, look, you love music. Why don't you just apply to Berklee? So I applied to Berklee College of Music with knowing very little music theory or any really, at that time, the coolest thing I could sort of claim was that I was playing Dream Theater songs note for note, some, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But dude, like back then, I say now note for note, probably wasn't note for note. I was
Right.
kind of close to it, but not really note for note. The note for note that we know as music transcribers and pop rock hired guns, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I applied, didn't get in. I applied again and didn't get in. And then I did this thing called the World Percussion Festival in the summer. And I got to be exposed to like the Berklee. That was paid, right? You did pay to get into that.
Yeah.
And eventually I met a couple of teachers there, and I had a couple of meetings there with admissions people, and I applied one more time, and they finally accepted my my application, sort of like conditionally. Like you had to basically clear X GPA to remain in the college.
Yeah.
So I was able to do it, and it was the greatest thing ever, dude. Going to that place, it was lovely. It was very eye-opening. I mean, we can get through a lot of that. I don't know if you have any questions,
No, that's just very interesting, like you going into the college like that. Did you figure out from then that this was going to be your career path, that you wanted to go, or
Absolutely
no?
not. Absolutely not. And I'll tell you, among the reasons why was, first of all, I went to music school because it was the best thing that I should do for myself, right? In my family, we all respect higher education. My dad went to MIT. My mom went to a good university in Venezuela. My sister went to a good college in Boston. My grandfather went to BU. So like the idea of higher education was like, it doesn't matter if you want to be a cook, clown, mechanic, whatever you want to do, but go to college, right? For whatever it is. So that's what I did. I went to music college because music was what I enjoyed the most and what I had the most fun and what seemed like I had the most ability for at the time. Even though I thought that I could do something with soccer, which I loved and I still love, but it was never, the ability was just nowhere near there. The drive, that was just a non-starter. So when I got to Berklee, and not everybody will know, I know that you will know a lot of these people, but I quit drumming within a week because my fellow students, and I wrote some of them.
All right.
You know, I might be wrong in terms of the how contemporary we were, but these are mostly the people that were there at the same time as me. Thomas Pridgeon, Nikki Glaspie, Dana Hawkins, Justin Rains, Kendrick Scott, Jordan Perlson, Martin Valahora from Slovakia, Pepe Clark, who plays with Strife and King and a bunch of other bands, like, and you name it. The amount of others that I'm not, you know, talking about that are potentially now household names in the drumming world, and you know, this was and other musicians. Hiromi Uehara was there, Esperanza Spalding, Mitch Cohn, Tony Gray, Yannick Guisdala, like all these people in different musicians in different areas and different instruments were all there. And I definitely felt like I didn't really belong there from an objective standpoint, where it's just like, I'm just not that good at my instrument to be compared or to get these gigs. And Fred Aiken spoke about Pepe, that he plays with King and other people. If you heard any human being was in a room with Pepe Clark and you heard how he hit his rim shot, you just couldn't believe. It's just like I'm never ever doing this.
Right.
Like there's just something where I need to find my way in this world, because I'm also not playing like Kendrick Scott. Sounds like the jazz greats. Like, how am I? This guy sounds like Elvin Jones. Like, what am I even going to? Why they're playing with mallets and the snare is off? Like, what is even that? It just, I didn't come from any of that vocabulary. And then I decided to switch to hand percussion to learn something new from scratch. I was just saying, like, if I'm going to be in this place, in this amazing place to learn, I might as well learn, like truly learn something new. So I signed up for Afro-Cuban percussion.
Ooh.
And that's what I did for a lot of my time there, was congas, bongos, timbales, and all the aux stuff that I love, shakers, tambourines, and the little, you know, rhythmic adjacent stuff like, you know, chimes and, you know, wood blocks and things like this. And that's just kind of how I was able to survive mentally and emotionally and musically. Berklee was being something different. And sort of hiding behind this cloak of, I need to learn something new. And because if I thought about competition, or if I thought about comparing myself to some of these musicians, you know, it would have been not good for anything, really.
Right.
I would have freaked out most likely. So that was just kind of my time there, and I absolutely adored every single moment I spent at that school. I'll you know, die on that hill. I know that it has a bad reputation for a lot of people, and you see nowadays a lot of people who have a social media following because they talk shit about Berklee and things like that. I loved it. I will never hide from it. I was able to take lessons with Mike Mangini, Dave DeCenso. I saw clinics with Dennis Chambers, you know, Kenwood Denard, you name it, you know, Abe Laboriel Sr. and some of the most, Pat Metheny, Mike Stern, they were there all the time. So, you know, it's not about how much harmony you take or how, you know, how they teach the movable do and all these other things. It's just being there and being around musicians from all over the world that you end up having an emotional attachment to them. And by proxy, you then have an emotional attachment to whatever music they're into. So, you know, like back then I loved metal, but I didn't love black metal. I was friends with Pepe, this guy Pepe, who had a black metal band. And because I loved my friend, I would go see him play black metal. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll listen to some Mayhem and I might listen to some other shit. You know, and then same with like, if you have a friend from Turkey and they listen to Turkish music, or a friend from Cuba, and then you're listening to, I listen to salsa, but oh, maybe this is more deep Cuban folk stuff, and so on and so forth. So to me, there's no substitute for that. And the lessons that I learned from both Mike Mangini and Dave DeCenso are so more beyond anything drum related that I could ever explain. And it was worth every penny that I spent in that college.
Yeah.
and obviously times have changed, the economies have changed throughout the world, but I absolutely loved it, and let alone all the networking aspect of it all, and all these other things. So I'm very, very thankful for my time there and everything I learned, and my fellow students that were some of my favorite drummers and musicians on planet Earth are people I went to college with, you know.
Wow, man, yeah, you you mentioning Nikki and Thomas Persian.
Just stupid. Just stupid.
Oh my gosh, man. And I totally get that because I felt almost kind of like that when I first moved out to LA and started meeting Ronald Burner Jr. and Chris Coleman and Thomas, all these guys, you know, that could just shred all day long. You know, of course, you know, we did that at this church in LA, just shredding until like 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever. And I was trying to find my path. Like, okay, I'm not these guys at all. I gotta try to find my niche or whatever. It's tough, you know,
Yeah.
like, you know, trying to figure that out, you know, because man, I almost, like I said, you know, like I wanted to quit, you know, especially after hearing those guys, and I wasn't educated like that, and I didn't go to school like Berklee or anything like that, and I kind of wish I did, because you know, like a lot of my you know, drummer friends or whatever, they all graduated from those type of schools, and
Yeah,
yeah,
but sorry to interrupt, but like you have done and are doing things that we all go to college to try to do. You know what I
oh
mean? So it's true. Like a lot of my friends from Berkeley, myself included, I can't claim the things that you have and you have done. So yes, we all have different paths. But I understand the sentiment. It's cool to learn some stuff, but also like finding your niche, it's hard, and sometimes you just don't even know that you're doing it.
yeah, yeah, oh my gosh, man,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you were going to that school, what, did you start getting into like any bands, or like, or were you just, you know, jamming with
I
some
was jamming with random friends here and there, and I did have a project with a Japanese piano player. His name is Yuki Kanesaka.
hmm,
Uh, and by the way, I'm sure some people have heard of this guy, Tall Yuki. He's from New York. He's a keyboard player. The reason that guy is called Tall Yuki is because there is a little Yuki that doesn't
oh,
get as much love, but he's a badass multi-instrumentalist producer guy. So we had a duo. It was called the Latin Groove Duo. So we
okay,
played you know, some Latin jazz and some like groove, neo soul ish type instrumental stuff.
hmm,
And we did a lot of gigs, like corporate gigs and in bars and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun. That was kind of like when I sort of halfway through college, I started doing a lot of drum set again, and I started doing like left foot clave stuff and a lot of like you know, Afro-Cuban and Brazilian type of vibe, and that's what I was focusing with him, and that's kind
hmm,
of where almost at the end of Berkeley, that's what I thought that I was gonna do, like move to New York, and I have to do the Latin jazz thing, and but I was terrified about that because I never liked the idea of soloing. I didn't
yeah,
like the idea of excuse me, instrumental music being my thing. I thought it was just the most boring thing. Even I of course I love and respect a lot of jazz and all that stuff, but at some point I'm just like, oh God, just give me a singer or some screams or just any rapping, you know, give me a human
yeah,
voice, you know. So yeah, when I graduated, that's what I thought I would do. And there was a one band that I wanted to join because I was an international student, so I needed to stay. I wanted to stay in America, so
yeah,
I had 1 year as permission to find a visa sponsor or a petitioner that would then be my again my sponsor to allow me to be in America for 3 years. So somebody to essentially sign your visa.
hmm,
And there was this band in town that I loved that I thought that I could play with, and I did an audition and I failed miserably, and I was really bummed. because, you know, I had graduated Berklee. I knew everybody in the band. I was supposed to be really good at drums, blah, 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 blah. I took lessons with DeCenso and Mangini and this guy, Iggy Azalea and percussion and this. And then I show up there for my first audition and I bomb it and it's absolutely terrible.
Oh.
But it meant not the gig, but there was a tour that they were going to do. They were a band that would play like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, basically religiously all over Boston. And it was rough to sort of have that disappointment right after college. And then eventually I got connected with a producer through my percussion, and this will resonate with you, and we can talk about this later. I called one of my teachers, one of my percussion teachers, his name is Iggy Castillo, and I asked him, I said, dude, I just auditioned for this band. I didn't get it. Do you have any job, anything that you can throw my way? I need credits to claim, you know, to apply for this visa, and I need to know that I've played in such venues and I play with blah, 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 to sort of compile a resume and to present to immigration. And he said, yeah, just come to this gig. I need a tech. So I was a tech. I set up his congas and his timbales and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And at one point I was like kind of bummed. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this tech thing. I just went to Berklee, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just shut up. This is what has to be done. I did it. And at that point, to make a very long story short, he introduced me to the guitar player in that band who essentially got me my first professional gig ever, which was a first full circle moment, because it was playing percussion for Gary Cherone of Extreme, whose album Porno Graffiti was my first album ever.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in a room playing More Than Words and Wholehearted with Gary Cherone after I graduated Berklee. It was the most unbelievable moment.
Oh, wow, man.
And at that point, I was like, okay, even after Berklee, Will, I wasn't even sure that I wanted to do this full time. I thought I might go back to Venezuela because I didn't know what was going to happen. Am I going to stay in America? Am I going to find a sponsor with this band? You know, I didn't know. So that's just kind of what kind of pushed me, or almost organically, to like, oh shit, okay, this happened. I guess I could make dreams come true in music, and I don't have to play instrumental music in a bar downtown, carrying my congas in the, you know, on the train in the winter for nobody to even listen to what you're doing. So it was one of those things that got me into thinking, okay, what do I want to do? And then a year later, I met you in LA.
That's when you decided that you wanted to move to LA.
I was like, this is what I need to be doing. Whatever I felt with Cherone, that, holy shit, it's an idol of mine. It's a song that I know. It's a song that the world, because mind you, I can play A Night in Tunisia with a bunch of killer musicians. First of all, I never thought that I was a killer musician. So there's always this element of, I don't belong here in this idiom, in this vocabulary. I don't want to deal with that, no matter how much I practice. And that's a whole different thing to me deal with as far as insecurities and so on and so forth. But I wanted to feel what I felt all the time. Like, holy shit, I love this song. I want to play this song. It's not a song that you like from playing it a bunch of times with your friends. This is a song that I grew up listening to, that was my favorite song growing up. And now I get to play it with this guy, and I played it a few times. And it was just wonderful. And I remember there was a time where Cherone was going to do some stuff with Extreme, and there was like some talks about maybe doing some stuff with Extreme, and he hadn't rehearsed the songs in a while. So the guitar player / producer, this guy Leo Malaise, who was in the band Tribe of Judah. I don't know if you ever heard Tribe of Judah.
I haven't, no.
Him and I would go to Sharon's house, and we would play Get the Funk Out, and we would play, you know, Cupid's Dead, and all these songs that he wanted to sing, because he knew that he would sing them with Nuno and the rest of the guys. And I was there, dude, going to his house, playing some of my favorite songs. Nobody saw this, no social media, no Instagram, no Facebook. And I basically, we had dinner one night after rehearsing, and I was like, he's like, hey man, you know, just so you know, I'm not really going to do a lot of stuff for a long time. Have you thought about moving to LA? And I'm like, no, should I? It's like, yeah, you should. You should move to LA, because like that's where you have bigger people. Like here in Boston, it's just me, and like Aerosmith's not here. Boston, the band is all set. They don't need percussion.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit, okay. That was November, and by January 29th, I had a one-way ticket to LA.
Do you remember what year that was?
2007. So I spoke to him November of 2006. And 3 days, 3 months later, I had a one-way ticket to
Yeah.
LA. And that was, the start of it all. I was given this amazing opportunity, or experience, I should say.
Right.
And I felt that it was too good to let it just be happenstance. And I was like, you know what? I am going to do music like for real. And all this to say, Will, like, I never, as much as I loved music growing up, I never had this calling of, I have to be a musician. This is who I am. This is my identity. I'm this. I'm like, no, it was never that. The three things that have always pushed me, or that really started to push me when I graduated, or in general, to pursue music full time. One of them was I had to take student loans through Berklee, through some difficult financial difficulties my parents were going through, but I didn't want to not finish Berklee. So I took out a student loan, which had a co-signer. I wasn't responsible if I didn't pay. My co-signer would be, because I was an international student, so you have to have an American co-signer.
Oh.
So the responsibility to pay my student loans for my co-signer was the main drive of my musical life. No, not the love for drumming or wanting to play with fucking, no. It was like, holy shit, this person co-signed my loan. I need to make sure that I have enough money to pay every month so that I can get that,
Wow.
hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So that's the thing. The other one was the sense of urgency of staying in America, because I didn't want to go back to Venezuela. So it's like, okay, I want to stay here.
Yeah.
This is before Venezuela was what we know now.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I need to stay in this country. I got to find out, I got to work to make money for my visa, for my student loans, but I also need the work for my visa so I can apply. So I was doing all kinds of gigs for free for the credit. So I can say, I played at this bar, I played at this bar, I played at that bar. And then when I presented to immigration was that. And then the third thing was this support that I always had my entire life from all my friends and family. At no point have I ever been bullied or made fun of or looked down upon for being a musician, ever. Every single parent of my friends, they always supported me, asked me about music, would give me an album, would be like, hey, check out this, you also play the flute, or whatever funny comment. So I was like, holy shit, man, I'm so privileged. I have all these things. I have the responsibility of money and immigration, but I also have this thing of people, this sort of good gremlin that empowers me to keep going. And then life rewards me with this token of, here's playing your favorite song of all time with essentially your favorite singer.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it? So I had a choice. And then I was like, okay, I need to repay all the people that have helped me get here. All those parents, all those friends that always supported me.
Yeah.
That's what my main drive for music was. It's like, I have fun playing music. I'm decent enough to play drums. And now I learn a bunch of percussion so I can make myself more useful. And that's why I do what I do, even to this day. But as you know, as you mentioned, finding your niche in LA was a little bit difficult because you get pigeonholed really, really quickly, at least back then.
Yeah.
More through word of mouth than social media. So it was tough, but the thing that was the true catalyst of change for me, aside from obviously going to Berklee, was in June 1st of 2007, I was hired by my dear friend Carl Restivo. I don't know if you know Carl. He plays he's Tom Morello's music director.
Oh, okay.
He hired me at the School of Rock in Hollywood.
Oh.
Who Megan Steiner and her family. So she was my student, one of my students.
I didn't know that.
I've known Megan since she was like, I don't know, 2007. I've known that family, who I love.
Wow, I love them too.
Yeah, they're amazing. So that was my life was, there's a before School of Rock and then an after School of Rock. The way we taught, my fellow teachers, the students that were there, how we taught, what we taught them, the special guests we had. Dude, we had Ace Frehley, we had Slash, we had Tom Morello, Michael Anthony, and then Richie Kotzen came and did a show with the kids.
Yeah.
And I met with Richie, and he loved how the kids were playing drums. And he wanted to know who the drum teacher was that taught them the parts of the songs. And it was me, and we hooked up. And then eventually I toured. That was my first tour, was touring with Richie, playing drums, and then, you know, a bunch of other stuff. But that's just kind of the full way of how I got started from Venezuela to meeting you.
Right.
And, you know, I got that drum set in 2007.
Yeah.
And that's the drum set I used to practice for my tour. And then eventually I did actually my first shows in LA with Richie were at there was the House of Blues in San Diego, Anaheim, in LA. And for all of them, I used the drum set that you sold me.
Yeah.
And we were opening up for George Lynch and Paul Gilbert, which was like,
wow,
stupid.
Yeah, two amazing guitar players there too, man.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that you played with Richie.
I did for 2 years. Yeah, it was my first tour. We toured with my friend Dave Felice on bass. We did 2 European tours, 2 tours or 3 tours in Brazil and Argentina. We did like 5 shows in Costa Rica, and it was just, I was having the time of my life. It was the most amazing music to play with him, a guy that I loved, and to this day I love and consider him an amazing friend. The most unbelievable guitar player, singer.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was ridiculous. It was like one of those things, like, again, I'm given this opportunity, like, whether you deserve it or not, if you're good or not, it's like, holy shit, this is happening. I need to take advantage of. So, dude, we went to Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia. We played in London, and you have Adrian Smith next to you watching you play. Played in San Francisco in front of Jason Becker, you know, in the front row. And then you look to your right to Monitor World, and there's Steve Lukather smoking a cigarette, like watching you play. Like, so forever, I will be super thankful to Richie for all those experiences. It was just insane,
man. Dude, since you were playing with Richie, how do you prepare? Do you read charts? How do you prepare for shows?
So
during that time?
During that time, things have changed a little bit, but I wrote my own sort of way of charting things, you know, intro, X amount of bars. Richie has a lot of songs that have 5-bar phrases or an extra bar on a pre-chorus to go to the chorus to create a little more tension and all that stuff. So there were a lot where I'm like, holy shit, is this the one with 5, you know, with a bar of 5 or whatever, or the extra bar? So I had to write his stuff down. But a lot of rehearsing before I played with him. And I owe this to my friend Dave Felice, who I told you, an amazing bass player. He played for Great White. He played for Bret Michaels, DMC, and a bunch of other people. He's just an amazing bass player. We were rehearsing one day, and there was a part that I couldn't get. That what's his name? I forget the drummer that did the record. Franklin Vanderbilt. Holy shit! What a drummer! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
He did this record, and there's a fill. So, you know, we practice it, and I wasn't getting it. It's like this unison thing, and I wasn't getting it. And at some point I got it. And I'm like, okay, cool, let's move on. And Dave was like, whoa. What do you mean move on? Who the fuck do you think you're dealing with? I'm like, what do you mean? We nailed it. It's like, no. We nailed it one time. You got to fucking do it again. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, fine. And then I didn't get it. And then I didn't get it. And then I would get it once every 7 times. And he's like, see, like, and then he told me some things that stuck in my head forever. Amateurs play it until they get it right. Pros play it until they can't get it wrong. And I was yeah.
Okay. All right.
Exactly. I was like, oh shit. So of course, like my whole construct of who I was as a musician out the window, completely different mindset behind learning a thing.
Right.
So I reverted back to a thing that Mike Mangini taught me, which was I was dealing with a lot of stage fright before during my time at Berklee, precisely because of the people that were my fellow students and so on.
Yeah.
And a lot of insecurities and so on. And he taught me this method, which you essentially, to make a very long story short, you essentially you chart out bar by bar, right? Every single detail. If you want to write it, with nomenclature, if you want to write with notes, or you want to write slash marks or whatever, but you want to see every bar laid out.
Yeah.
And you write what tempo the song is at. You play that looking at the chart. You try to memorize it as well as you can until you feel like you know the song at that tempo, quote unquote, perfectly. And then you bring it down 2 BPM without looking at the chart, and you play it, or with looking at the chart. It's irrelevant.
Right.
And then 2 BPM, and then 2 BPM, and do it. So essentially, you do 20 BPM slower. Then you play. When you get to, let's just say it's a song that's at 120, you get to 100. Then you bump it to 101, and then you go to 103. Then you want to go 105, and so on and so forth, up until you get to 120 again. And then you do that for 10 more BPM back and forth. What he wanted to basically accomplish with that was truly knowing the song inside out at every imaginable tempo, in case the singer counts the song faster, in case adrenaline takes over and you count it faster, or you're very tired and you count it slower. Because as you know, there's things that sit really, really well at 105, but at 104 they suck, but at 103 they fucking sound great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or for us. So I did that, but I know it's more of a security blanket type of thing, like knowing that you did everything that you could to get to that point. But my role with Richie, because I knew that I couldn't hang with one of the greatest guitar players that has ever lived as far as unison licks. I'm not Marco Miniman, I'm not, so I was just making sure as much as I could to the cliche, play the song and be out of the way as much as possible. And sometimes I would look videos right now and I'm like, I cringe because I do a fill every 4 bars. I'm doing a drum fill or something like that, which is horrible. But I did my best at that time to support his guitar playing and play the kind of way that he wanted me to play. And it was great. I grew a lot and I learned a lot about attention to detail, hand cues, and watching the leader, the band leader at all times, just watching the band leader of all times and just focusing my energy as much as humanly possible, and understanding things as like where he's low on the neck versus where he's high, and all these things that you're not really taught that might be commonsensical for a lot of people. But if you're just used to playing, For Whom the Bell Tolls, you have no idea as far as like, how long the solo is. And then you go, so that was one of those things, among the things that I learned was that, like,
wow,
pay attention, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for being on the drum kit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only the drum kit for at that time with Richie. Yeah.
When was the transition from being from kit going into gigs doing percussion? When did that happen?
So when I moved to LA, I had a band that I had worked with in Boston and New York. Really, they came to LA, so we were doing gigs once a month or something like that. So I was kind of keeping that fire going, the percussion part going. And I was doing a lot of when you talk about finding your niche, I was going to, instead of going to the typical jam sessions at like Cafe Cordial or Cozy's and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about those places.
Yeah. They, which were ironically a block away from your work at Sherman Oaks.
Yeah.
I would go to open mics and songwriter like showcases, like at Room 5 or Hotel Cafe, and I would offer my services to these singer-songwriters whose music I liked, and I'd be like, "Hey, I play percussion. I don't know if you ever want to play, cajon or bongos. I would love to do that." And I met a bunch of singer-songwriters, and I started doing a lot of that. My buddy Jamie Alonge I met through Craigslist and stuff like that. So I kept the percussion going just to, again, same thing. I still need to make money for my student loans. I still need to get my visa renewed. So I need as many, credits as possible. But while I was in the Richie Kotzen world and I was still working at School of Rock, I got introduced to this guy, Jack Lawless, who plays drums for the Jonas Brothers.
Okay.
And we became friends. And eventually he texted me one day. He's like, hey, you might get a call soon to play percussion with the Jonas Brothers. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. I kind of compartmentalized it because I was like, dude, I was playing with Richie. We're going to his house and Jerry Cantrell is there and Tom Morello's there. They're playing fucking poker and, just surreal shit, man.
You're naming some legends there, man. Seriously.
And I'm not name dropping because I think I'm in their level. It's like you show up and you're watching football with Jerry Cantrell and he's like, the Seahawks are playing. You're like, what the fuck is life? What am I? Yeah. I feel like I'm supposed to like serve like them like dinner or something.
Right. Yeah.
Like hors d'oeuvres or something. But dude, I was on tour with Richie and I got a call saying, hey, my name is so-and-so. I'm the music director for the Jonas Brothers. We're looking for a percussion player. Jack says that you're great. You and I actually went to Berklee together. His name is John Taylor. He's like, you and I went to Berklee together around the same time. I've seen your old videos. The boys like your music. They want to add you on percussion. Do you want to do it? Dude. So at that moment, I was doubtful because I was, again, touring with Richie as a drummer, rock music, hanging out with all these rock stars that I loved.
Yeah.
But I always wanted, because of Headbangers Ball, because of MTV, the pyro, I wanted the typical sort of like power ballad, black and white video where everybody's like, rolling or they're building the stage, or they're like, they're all drunk and they're like getting into the limos, or like they're hanging out at the Rainbow. Like, I was like, I fucking want that. I want to know what that's like.
Yeah.
And then I saw the tour routing, I saw the pay, I saw the stadiums that we were going to play, or the arenas that we were going to play. And I was really, really torn. So I go back to LA. I have dinner with a friend of mine we met at some coffee bean on Sunset. Mm-hmm. And we were walking to the car park. And I'm telling him, this is my buddy Jamie. I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do. What are these dudes gonna like think of me? Like all these metal guys, and I was hanging out a lot with like Eddie Trunk and Don Jameson and all these dudes, and we're going to that metal show. And I run into them, and literally run into them. It's like, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing? It's like, yeah, man, I'm here. Like fucking, I just got offered the Jonas Brothers gig. I haven't told Richie yet, and they're like, dude, fuck yeah. Fucking, you better take that gig. It's going to be so good for you. Fucking, you're going to tour and blah, blah. And I'm like, holy shit. You guys think it's okay? And then I went to Richie's house and I told him, I was like, hey, man, I got this offer. I don't know what to do. And he said, well, you're going to take it. Otherwise, I'm going to fire you and you don't have a gig. So you have to take it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And
really?
he's like, dude, I'm not doing anything for like God knows how long. I'm doing construction in my house. I'm not going to be busy. I can't pay you a retainer. You're a freelancer, dude. Do it. So I did. And that changed the trajectory of my life forever. That was June of 2010.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I ended up doing, a massive tour with them playing percussion all over the world, and fucking stadiums and every arena in LA, in America, and amphitheaters. And then that led to a bunch of other stuff, thankfully. But again, it was the grace of Richie to accept that change of work, essentially. And it was all doing percussion. It was all percussion. So I went back to, congas and a pop percussion setup,
right?
Which was essentially what I wanted to do at Berklee when I switched. I wanted to learn that kind of stuff to do those things, not so much to be, a conguero in New York, but I wanted to play. At that time, it would have been, Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera or NSYNC or Backstreet Boys or those were the pop Sade, and those gigs that they always had a percussionist. I love that look.
Yeah.
Luis Conte and, of course, the other greats, Richie Gajate Garcia and all the ones that I'm forgetting right now that I'm obviously Sheila E.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So yeah, man, it was just one of those things, and that led me to other things, But that's when I made the switch. It was
okay.
It was I almost felt like I didn't have a choice. It's
Yeah.
like, this is what's happening. Now I got to do it. And
Wow. But you have like a legend even just telling you you need to go do this.
yeah,
That's that's
yeah,
that's big on him. That's huge, man.
yeah. And I mean, there's also the sense of he knows he can get any drummer he wants, right? He found a pocket of things that he liked, our friendship, our the way of working,
Yeah.
get along really well with his family and all this stuff. So for him, exactly, to say that, like, oh shit, now, because I know how much he doesn't like getting new people in a band and having to find musicians and having to rehearse them and they don't play the right way and so on and so forth. So to know that he has to go through that, or I'm going to make him go through that, and he knows that he's going to have to go through that. Like you said, it just shows a lot of a big heart and a big
Yeah.
he knew that it was good for me. And yeah, I haven't played with him since.
Dag. Oh man.
Yeah. Actually, we did one thing. We had Nuno had a Halloween party, and we played together one song. But it was, who knows how long ago that was now.
All right.
But yeah, but I love the guy. Wish him nothing but the best, and he's just
Yeah.
a monster.
Wow. And shout out to Richie.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, another legend, man. But
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, E-Record Studio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their e-record sessions on social media. Visit ERS on erecordstudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
before I forget this question, I want to ask you, especially you when you transition from drummer to more doing percussion in the pop world. How is it being the percussionist instead of the drummer? How did you feel doing that?
It's a great question, because I think a lot of people think that percussion is like a demotion when you play percussion instead of drumming. And I understand the sort of bandstand sentiment of it all. And to a degree, the musical importance. I know everybody plays an equal role, yada, yada, yada. The bus driver is the drummer is the bus driver. I loved the idea of having less responsibility and less pressure
Yeah.
than being the guy.
Yeah.
You know, I am totally okay with not being that person. I've also been incredibly spoiled in my entire career to play with drummers that are very, very good, that know how to play with a percussion player, not from a Santana standpoint, but from a rock pop perspective. I've been spoiled. Jack Lawless from the Jonas Brothers, unbelievable drummer that plays the same song the same way, asks me what I want to do, leave space. Stacy Jones, my favorite drummer to play with. He is just the most consistent, like Jack, the same. They're the most consistent, musical, inspiring drummers that allow me to do what I do. And I've learned a lot from, the intricacies and nuances of being a percussionist through them. And I wish I could hit rim shots like Stacy Jones does and like Jack Lawless does. And so, RJ Kelly, it's another drummer that, I mean, he's just stupidly good to play with him. Elias Malin, a buddy of mine that I told you about, I love playing with him as well. So because I've been spoiled having good experiences with great drummers, it's always great playing percussion.
Yeah.
Very rarely have I been like, because as a drummer, there is this ego, competitive, the soccer player in me that goes like, oh, I could do better than that drummer.
Right.
But when I can't, when I don't feel I can, that's a awesome pocket to be in. I love that. I'm like, oh shit, could I do metrically the same thing? And but I couldn't make it feel the same way that these guys are doing it. Let them do that, and I stay back and I do my thing, percussion wise, which I love. It doesn't have to be hand percussion as far as congas and bongos and the Latin side. If you listen to Man in the Box, or you listen to some Black Sabbath, if you listen to War Pigs, there's tambourine there. If you listen to Sad But True, there's shakers. If that shit's heavy and I can play all that stuff, I don't give a fuck. what
Dude.
Becky from Indiana might think about if I'm not the right, if I'm not doing congas on a song or I'm only playing shaker. Yeah, I'm doing it. And I'm doing it for you, Becky, so you have fun and you listen to the song just like the record,
Dude. That's
but
a great attitude, man.
thank you, man. Thanks.
That's great.
It just, I don't have a choice, because if I start being like, oh, I can do that on drum, no, like it's like if body count calls me, you think I'm going to be like, oh, I can definitely do. No, I'm not. You do that, and please let me do, and I'll match your double kick with a tambourine.
Right. Yeah.
We'll figure something out. It'll be cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that aspect. And, the reason why at the end of the day I stuck with drums was because I wanted to play with other musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to play with Marty Friedman and with Dave Mustaine and with David Ellison. I didn't want to play. I love Nick Menza, my favorite of all time. There was just I didn't play drums so I could replace Nick or replace whoever. I wanted to play with the musicians that they played with. So eventually I did the same thing with percussion. I'm like, well, I don't want to replace whoever's playing for Paramore one day.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather have them play like the song, and I can play tambourine on That's What You Get, and like just be like, oh, I don't have to worry about when the things are coming. Like, that's fine. I love the low pressure, sort of the lower quote unquote stakes of being percussion. But obviously we all know there's a lot of, one wrong tambourine hit and you ruined the entire damn song.
Yeah.
That kind of.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna.
I'm done.
Oh no, I was gonna ask. You ever had that drummer that didn't like played over top of you? Like,
yeah, of course. This is not a dig,
right?
It's just factual.
Yeah.
When I played with Tony Royster, he was sort of entrusted by Adam Blackstone and the production manager at the time to be Tony Royster.
Yes. And
be the greatest drummer on planet Earth. Do your thing. So that was harder to play alongside with him, because he would play, whether it's 32nd notes or triplets or 16th notes, so perfectly well that when my 16th notes aren't perfect, I sound like I'm flamming with him.
Oh.
So I didn't like how I sounded a lot of the times when I was playing the peripheral stuff, the auxiliary stuff. When I was playing congas, I can be selective of 8th notes and 16th notes and draw a sonic picture dynamically. But if I'm doing a thing with a transient or with staccato, and I'm not matching perfectly with Tony, I feel like I'm flamming. He can probably barely hear me because he's doing the thing.
Yeah.
So I felt that was hard, not because of how busy he was, but because how he would expose my shortcomings metrically and meter wise. So that was hard for me. But I loved, I have a song called, Joe has a song called See No More that I loved, and just Tony would crush it. And then, it depends on the band. If you see Tony play with Jay-Z, he plays like a fucking, the record, like a drum machine.
Yeah.
Like no fills, Tony might as well have a kick hat and snare drum.
Right. Oh man.
Or with Katy Perry,
Yeah.
So he's a monster musician, funny as hell. Hardworking dude. I don't think I've seen any drummer practice more than Tony Royster practices.
Really?
And it shows. That's why he plays how he plays and has played with who he has played. And absolute monster. But that was if I had to say, like, and there've been drummers that don't have their shit together, or don't know how to play with a percussion player. It's patterns that we would mimic that he would normally do because there's no drummer, no percussionist, but there is a percussion player, so you don't have to do that. But it's hard for some drummers to not want to do a certain fill or not want to do, but I have the timbal here to do like well, cool. Let me do it because that's what I'm supposed. Yeah, that's a percussion. Right. So you deal with like, okay, man, you do you, whatever you got to do. You want to do that fill, you do that fill. I'll do something else, and try to that's a very much an ego checking exercise for me as well. So like, okay, I don't have to impose my Latin hood, over this. I don't have to play clave. I don't have to do a timbal hit. One thing that I worked a lot with Stacy Jones was I had this idea of crashing on percussion all the time. Whenever they crash, there's we do crashes together.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that I was doing with the Jonas Brothers were like arenas, and it would look good if you have another guy doing a hit.
Yeah.
But with Stacy, I realized I was doing a little bit of flamming that I didn't realize that I was doing with single hits on a cymbal. So my cymbals on stage, whenever I play with Stacy, I never ever crash. I swell.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I've adapted that to my percussion sort of arsenal forever. I never crash when I play ever, really. If I'm playing a shaker, I'm never going I'm never crashing if I don't have to. I swell. So that way I don't interrupt any of his kicking in cymbal perfect hit. You know what I mean?
Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is unplanned. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you show me like on that kit, like how you swell?
So, well, I don't have my mallets with me.
Yeah.
But it's I would, well, there's sort of single-handed swells, obviously, if I have to do the thing.
Yeah.
Do I have mallets around here? Let me take a look before hold on a second. Give me a second.
All right, that's cool.
Normally, you would have, you're playing your shaker.
Yeah.
So normally you would be like, you're doing the thing and it goes like boom, ba, da, da, dum, da, da, dum, crash, right?
Yeah.
It's like what most people would do.
Yeah.
I try to get away from that stuff. And if it's a build or something big.
Okay.
So if you're going boom, ba, and the fill coming up, da 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 da.
Okay, yeah.
So that way I'm seen as I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Right? The visual contribution and my sonic contribution is just there's a peak, but there's not a point. It's just a suggested higher volume. And you can interpret the peak wherever. And it could have been a thing of, a musical taste thing at the moment, or that the song had like 2 hits within, because it doesn't have to be a hit on one. It could be a hit on the and of 3 and then on 1, but you're starting to play that swell to take up that sonic space during the duration of a bar, half a bar, and then after. So it has a peak, but it also has a tail. Because if I just crash, it just crashes. So that way, when I swell, there is no flamming whatsoever.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? So those are things that I've never thought about until I work with a guy like Stacy, for example, that he pointed it out. I'm like, oh, shit. Right. And then you go to the studio, you hear back, and you solo the tracks, and you're like, oh, fuck, I am flamming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. Something so basic as a hit on one, like a quarter note.
Right.
And you're flamming, not always, I'm not also here to shit on myself, but enough where I was like, ooh, God, I need to do that. So,
right. Oh man. Thank you for doing that, man.
Of course, dude.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I just wanted people to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And just to educate them. Speaking on educating, going back to when we first met and we were talking and whatnot, I thought already that you were already a music teacher already. Were you?
I was a music teacher in Boston, and I was looking for students, but I hadn't taught at all at anywhere from the day we met until about 4 months later. That, again, thanks to the drum set that you got, that I got from you, I was able to teach a couple of people like private lessons, and then eventually I got to School of Rock. And I started teaching more there, obviously.
Man, yeah. I just, I thought that was that's what I liked about you. Like you're, like the way you even talked with me, it was just, you were just down to earth, cool. And I just love talking to you, so.
It was great.
And I was like, man, this dude's cool, man. You know, like every time you came in the shop, man, it was just an awesome experience with you. Um,
Likewise, dude. Thank you.
oh man, no, it's just great to just to hear your experience, even with what's going on right now, our interview right now, like still even back then, it was just cool talking with you. I just want to let people know that that's
Thank
how cool you were, like just come up just now, like it's a cool dude, man,
you. You're
so
the best, man. You're the best. I gotta have you around all the time, man. Thank you, man. It's very kind.
oh,
I love talking to you, man. And I would go
oh.
not for the drums, man. I would just hang.
Yeah. I think that's, what made our relationship so cool. But I want to get back in this interview real quick,
Let's
real
do
quick.
it.
I have a couple more questions to ask you. Um, your percussion setup,
Yes.
how much stuff do you have? Do you have less in some situations, or what is your typical setup
There,
for
there,
being in some bands?
there's the sort of when I'm doing pop setup, and then
Yeah.
when I'm doing more of a sort of like, which I don't do a lot of anymore, but like more like singer-songwriter acoustic vibe, right?
Hmm.
The My setup is kind of like my drums, very, very standard. I like, for my drum set, I have one up, one down, ride, two crashes, hi-hat. That's it. I
Hmm.
have some little things that I feel are kind of like quirks, but nothing major. In percussion, it's very typical. Congas, bongos, timbales, chimes, a mounted tambourine, ideally two mounted tambourines, and a table with a vast assortment of shakers,
Yeah.
four or five, and five or six different tambourines that depending on the artist, there are some artists that don't, frankly, they don't care what you play.
Oh,
And there are artists like Miley that want to know every single thing that you play. And it's the greatest thing to
really?
know. Oh yeah, she's the first rehearsal I ever did. She walked up to me, um, and she said hello. She introduced herself, and we said hello to each other.
Hmm.
And she's like, "Oh my God, I like all this stuff. Can you show me kind of what they do?" So I took, this is the red shaker, this is the blue shaker, this is the yellow shaker, this is the red tambourine, the black tambourine, and she was like, "Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, okay, noted. Okay." And then later in the rehearsal, she'd be like, "Can you try that with a yellow tambourine or whatever, the yellow shaker instead?" And be like, "Oh, I like that more." And so I would write that, like, okay. So I was in her ears all the time.
Yeah.
It was just amazing, dude. She loves percussion. I haven't played with her in a couple of years, but every time we played, we would be playing or rehearsing or playing, and she would hear me do something that she likes, and she would stop singing and like turn around and be like, "Fuck yeah," and then keep singing.
Oh,
Like in the
really?
middle of a show. Yeah, it was like the most surreal shit. Um,
Oh,
so when you ask the setup, I think it's important for sort of toot my own horn, and I know a lot of us are this way. You as well. That's why you work so much. You can't have your setup and expect to work unless you are a Tony Royster, that you get called to be Tony Royster.
yeah.
You need to
Yeah.
set up for whatever the people need,
Yep.
they can afford in backline, what you own, what can be transported at any given time. But as long, in my opinion, as you don't skimp out and you don't compromise the music because you're afraid to make one more trip to and from your car,
Yeah.
or because it's a pain in the ass to load a 22-inch bass drum, but so then you play with 18-inch bass drums all the time. That sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's the most insulting, self-disrespecting thing ever. It's like when you
Yeah.
compromise because of room, or how annoying it's going to be to carry some shit. You got to do,
Yeah.
if you have it and you need it, do
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
my setup is very standard, precisely because if I need to do a gig and I don't have a djembe here or a mounted cajon or this or that, I still need to do the gig.
Yeah.
One last thing, I know you're not asking me about this. I talk a lot. My setup is directly related always to two things. Aside from the logistics and if it's backline or it's my own shit, it's where I'm on stage
Yeah.
and where the drummer is. I need to look at the
Cool.
drummer for cues all the time,
Yeah.
right? And depending on the gig, if I find myself playing mostly whatever instrument, shakers or tambourines, for example, I have more freedom to move around and see stuff, right? If I have a gig where for whatever reason I'm playing a lot of timbales, right? And I'm set up stage left, and the timbales are on my left, and everybody's behind me all the time, and I'm playing timbales a lot.
Yeah.
I need to switch it so the timbales are on my right side so I can see people all the time, since that's what I'm playing the most.
Yeah.
So a lot of where I put the stuff that I put it has to do with how much of it I'm using on stage, where I'm on the stage itself, and where the drummer is. You know, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to give my back to because then you're playing and you're looking behind you for a cue. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
And with bands like with Miley and even the Jonas Brothers before, we do have cues on our ears, but it's not like every bar that you hear a lot of these guys that put up their videos on Instagram, and it's like everything is like chorus and blah blah blah. No, we have like enjoy the music, play them, and learn the music. You know, obviously there's a caveat to that. There's church gigs and sub gigs and stuff like that. So I need visual representation at all times of where we are on a grid, as far as the show, the people, looking at the artist, looking at other people. I need to be present as much as possible. And this is a little inside baseball, but when you play with like famous pop artists who have a fervent fan base, you need to also be aware of bad shit being able to happen to them. Or you as a metal fan with Ice, dude, like there are people that might jump on stage. So you want to look at all times, if you can, at what you're at the crowd, not just to enjoy the crowd having fun playing a song or whatever, but just to observe. And if you play with female pop musicians that are stalked 24/7, you know, you want to make sure that you try to see as much as possible. So this is not like one of the things that I always do, but it definitely helps being aware for emergency situations. I like being aware of as much as I can all the time. So again, the instruments that I play the most have my most attention, and they should always face where most of the energy goes toward. Visually.
Dude, thank you for explaining that, man, because
of course,
I never thought about to ask that question like that. Dude, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man.
No, thank you for even just sharing that with us, man. Thank you.
Of course.
Man, there was another question, of course, and I keep on showing this off.
Oh yeah, as you should. Let's go.
Who do you endorse with?
I have I'm a Zildjian artist. I've been a Zildjian artist for a long time.
Ooh,
since
are you with Kirsten?
I am with Kirsten. That's my goat. I love her. Love her. She's been so generous. I mean, I have all those, you know, she's been unbelievable, a great friend. Phenomenal mother as well.
Yes.
Of amazing children.
She is.
So I've been with Zildjian since 2017 or so.
Right.
Latin percussion. All my percussionist LP. Absolutely love them. Jerry and Derek Zimmerman. I use Remo drum heads. Shout out to Roger Johnson.
Yeah, Roger.
What a great drummer, and what a great gigging drummer, and you know,
he's a funny dude.
Oh, he's hilarious. Ultimate ears, in-ears. I do Vader. Vader is the brand that I've used the longest. I just posted about it. I've been using Chad is the best. And I would love talking about football, and it's a fellow Patriots fan. Chad was the first signed me to my first artist deal ever.
Oh, really?
Like 2009 with Richie, and actually before, because they were Boston based. This guy Dana Spellman that used to work at Vader, or with Chad, play with Sharon in a The Who tribute, and he recommended me and stuff. So I've been a Vader artist for 16 years or so.
Dude,
yeah, which is amazing.
awesome.
Roland as well.
Nice.
And I think I might be forgetting some. Oh, SE Electronics, amazing mics.
Nice.
And last but not least, I just became a few months ago a DW endorser. So shout out to Jules, and shout out to Vega, and shout out to the Lombardi, Chris Lombardi, like everybody. Chris is a great guy too. So yeah, man, I'm very fortunate to have all the support of all these brands that are amazing, and we hear all the time about like, oh, you find your voice and you got to do that. Yeah, dude, it's great finding your voice when you can ask Chad to send you 7 different models. Yeah. But a lot of us didn't at one point and don't. So we have to kind of keep things in perspective of people that are listening to this. They're like, all these guys have all these things and they can finally find my stick. Yeah, I know. And I know it's hard when you only have $100 in your bank account. You're not going to buy, let me have the Fatback 3A and then also no, just get whatever, like just whatever you can afford. That's what you can afford. And that's okay. It's like social media puts so much pressure on us. On us that are seasoned. Imagine these kids coming up that feel all this pressure. I do not envy that. And it's so hard. That's why I'm so happy with like Tosh, for example, and kids like that, Daniel Fang, and these like unbelievable drummers that are young but seem to have like circumvented the whole bullshit of social media, and they're just their own selves. And I love that for them, that they kind of are unscathed. But social media, it's hard. But anyway. Yeah. DW, shout out to all of them, and much love. I truly appreciate all of that.
Great company, man. Great company, and guys over at Roland and LP.
Yes.
And like, man, you got an SE, man. I haven't tried those yet. So
awesome mics. I do a lot of recording here at home for myself and some projects here and there. Like I did a entire Weezer album. I did percussion for a Weezer record, and I used it's called the V7, which is essentially, actually I did a lot of this on this with this microphone. Actually, that album I did with only this mic.
Really?
It's called a Dynacast. Yes. Okay. I did all of it with this. Because I remember, this was a very noisy mic stand and I had to tape it all up. But yeah, the whole record I did with this. It's called the Seasons record. It was kind of like a 4-album project that they had, like a 4-album cycle, which was like summer, winter, spring, and fall, or whatever, autumn. And I did that. But yeah, SE, that's all I used on that record. One mic for the entire thing to do congas, bongos, shakers, timbales, chimes. Wow. Sitting here in this same chair with this same microphone with a Scarlett interface. Yeah. The whole thing. So SE, super reliable. I've never had an issue with any of their stuff, and I do have the drum pack as well. So whenever I record drums, that's what I use as well.
Dude, that's sick.
You should check them out, man. They're awesome.
I need to. Yeah, I need to. And I already talked to them because the Dell guys were with SE, and I was like, I've been saying it for a whole year now, and I talked to the dude, and I forgot his name.
Tony.
Yes. Yeah. And I talked to him last year, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to hit you up. And I never did. I need to hit him up.
You should. Yeah. Awesome guy. And also, these companies offer a lot of education and support. They don't just give you stuff. If anybody ever has the privilege and joy to walk into Zildjian in LA and you talk to Kirsten, she's the cymbal whisperer. Yes. You tell her, "Hi, I'm looking for this and this and that kind of sounds like this, that might sound like this, but this kind of wash, and it sounds like this, and it feels like this on the stick." She's like, "Okay, have a seat." And she'll pull up 3 cymbals, and the first choice is always the one that you take home, and then the other ones are equally as great, but she can read your mind, she can read your ear. It's the craziest thing. And a lot of these artist reps are so much there for you to offer support and to educate you and to supporting you. Like I said, and you know, they're not just give you stuff and you don't just buy stuff. There's a relationship there that should be embraced and respected and nurtured. And I'm lucky that all of the people in those brands are just amazing human beings that I would hang out with them. And if they all left the companies, I would probably think about leaving the company as well, because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, then what's the point? I mean, I
Yeah.
know that things are great, but shit, I love you guys too much. I don't want to deal with anybody else, you know?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, I've done it. You know, but that's just it is all about the artist relations, you know, right there, you know. So
Absolutely.
I totally get that, you know. Even though I'm with Sabian,
Yeah, which make
you know,
great symbols,
you know,
you know?
so you know, Kirsty knows, you know, so
Yeah,
she knows.
yeah.
But you know, like you know, I had to deal with them a lot with them with Offspring, before Josh Freeze, but yeah, but just a great person, man, just to
Yes,
deal
indeed.
with, man. So, oh, what is your like two favorite songs from each pop band
Ooh,
that you like playing? That you like playing?
ah, I love playing the song called "What the Fuck Do I Know" with Miley,
Yeah.
and I love playing "Wrecking Ball." Just
Oh,
as they're just ridiculously massive hits, you know.
yeah.
With the Jonas Brothers, I love playing a song called "Hold On," which is just kind of like this hopeful, like teenage angst song about, you know, and the girls would, all the fans would just sing and just almost pass out. Um, that I love playing that song. They had a song called World War III that I really like. It was kind of funky. I really like that. I played drums with Nick Jonas for a long time. He had a song called Chains, Under You. I really liked,
Mm-hmm.
and a song called Bacon that I love playing with him as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, off the top of my head, that's kind of what I would say, like from the pop world.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Any,
man.
anything from the rock world?
Oh yeah. Whew. I mean, you can't fuck with. It's unfuckable with is More Than Words and Wholehearted with Gary Sharon. You know, you
Yeah.
can't, those are untouchable. With Richie, he had a song called oh my God, of course I'm forgetting now. I'm gonna stall to see if I can remember. But when he did oh my God, he played it with Mr. Big. He wrote it it was a Mr. Big song.
Oh,
Shine, excuse me, Shine.
okay.
I love playing that song with him, Shine.
Mm,
And he had a song called Remember. He has a song called Remember, like a 6/8 type of vibe. Love playing that with him.
mm,
Um, and yeah, I currently playing a lot of drums with Orianthi, and I love her music. So I love playing a couple of her songs. One called Light It Up that I love playing, and just a couple. Man, I don't know. There's another one called Sinner's Hymn that I like a lot as well. But yeah,
mm.
man, I've been lucky to play both rock and you know and in the pop world, and it's just a lot of fun, man. I'm very very fortunate to get to do both things in both worlds, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, man, it's great.
Do you get to do a lot of like traditional like Latin style?
Not anymore as much as
No.
I would. I mean, I try to practice, you know, like grab my congas and I play like traditional salsa music.
Yeah.
But I don't. I never get called to play congas in a salsa band. I would love to do. I would love to do that, um,
Mm,
especially if it's more of the traditional stuff. The newer stuff has gone very choppy, like gospel choppy, uh, and that's not to the detriment of the music. I'm saying is I can't hang with
right.
that.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, but yeah, I would love to play some of that stuff. But I get my fix of that playing the old records that I listen to here at home,
Mm.
and that's just my abstraction of whatever's going on. That's my home. You know, I play that stuff and I sort of revert back to that all the time.
Can I ask you? This is totally off the cuff, but I just wanted to ask. You know, say, do you feel like percussion has changed as well compared to like even drumming?
A hundred
Like,
percent. A hundred
yeah.
percent. Oh my God.
When did you notice that when it changed?
Social media, Instagram, the idea of how the collective mind of musicians at some point felt that it was okay to use a song as a backing track for chops.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would criticize gospel chops, let's just say, or gospel chops drummers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the stuff that you heard and when it originated, there was never vocals. It was a click or an instrumental or a fusion track, and you could do whatever you wanted. They never played over a vocalist or anything like that, because if they did that at church, Fred Hammond would have a problem, and all these people would have. So I think gospel chops gets a little bad rap from things as if they did. It's the people that interpreted gospel chops wrongly that started playing it on top of every song and the singers of every genre. So it has happened where you have timbal players doing, back in the day, if you listen to a salsa record, maybe you heard 7 timbal fills. Bang, brrrr, that's it.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you put a salsa record and you could maybe hear 80 of them. It's insane the amount of notes that are being played, or the conga patterns are rarely a 4-bar pattern, 2-bar pattern that repeats. There's every other bar, there's a variation. And there are people that do it more musically than others, obviously, where it sounds more cohesive and stuff, but it has changed everything. Latin drumming, conga playing, bongo playing, timbal playing, the technique has gone through the roof. There's more access to what the greats did, and people can slow things down and, figure out exactly what it is. And, there's the other aspect of it is the validation of people that, you and I know this, and everybody knows this that listens to this. You open Instagram, and you see a person just completely vomiting musically over a track. Like, it's the worst shit you've ever heard. And then you see who liked it, and some of your favorite musicians and some of the most badass musicians that they like it. Or they're like, oh, burning, man, or that fucking sounds tough, man. And you're like, what are you doing?
Right.
It doesn't.
Right.
But you feel this duty to like, because you have to support the friend. So then some of the musicians see that it's like, oh, I should do more of this choppy shit all over these songs, or I should do all this. Yeah. So there's this perpetual thing of like, who likes the post and who posts in the thing, and it's like, it can get weird, but percussion for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe that always existed, but now more people have more voices and they're being heard more, and they become a little more viral. And it's like, oh, this is what has to do. In percussion, for instance, one thing that has been morphed is the idea of multi-percussion. So what a lot of people don't know, you have the drummer, and usually in salsa, for example, you have congas, bongos, timbales. They make up the battery of the salsa.
Yeah.
Because of money, because of bands not being able to pay X, Y, or Z, and also because of the development of techniques from musicians and them getting better, they have been able to amalgamate and play both congas and timbales at the same time. Or congas, or, this combination of, so they play, the congas almost sound like a conga player, and the right hand, when they're playing timbales, they almost sound as good as a timbal player. And then they play a bunch of stuff that is not pop percussion.
Oh.
It's a difference between being able to hang with a piano player, a bassist in a traditional salsa setting, but you can play and you sound like the conga player, the bongo player, and the timbal player all at once through amazing technique. There are many people that do that. But also you have pop percussion where you have the same instruments, but you don't play them as if you had a conga player, a percussionist playing tambourine, and then another guy playing timbales. They're completely different functions. It's like, imagine somebody that was playing a violin, but they had all these pedals to make, it sound like an orchestra versus just playing the violin or something like that. It might be the worst analogy ever.
Sorry.
But that has changed a lot. So there's this idea where you think percussionists have to play as much of the conga pattern, every note as possible, as much as what the timbal player would be playing, as much as what the bongo player would play, all at the same time. but that does not equal musicality. Even if you are playing the right parts at the right time, because you're playing with one hand, something's going to go through that filter and you're going to overplay, or something's going to be compromised and no, it's not going to be that efficient, or you don't do the right variation that is emblematic to that one song. Why? Because you're playing the guiro on one hand and the other thing, and then you can't do it because it's, this is swung triplets and you're doing this other thing. So that has changed a lot. And that's where you revert to go back full circle. Yeah. It's what is my niche? What am I doing? Well, I don't do that. Or also you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, why am I not doing it? Is it because it's hard? Is it because I know how hard I would need to work as far as time, and I have a wife and I have a house and I have this thing, like how much time am I willing to invest? And then because of what? Like, is it to say like, chick, oh, I can do that. That's awesome. Does the gig require it? Maybe. Does it not? Then don't do it. It's like, yeah, we can learn. Of course, any and every drummer should listen to Nefertiti by, Miles or whatever. And I don't even know if it should be Miles. Oh my God, I'm just blanking right now.
Sorry.
Kind of Blue. I should say Kind of Blue by Miles, because I know it is by Miles. Everybody should listen to that record.
Yeah.
Should you practice it and play it identical to the recording? That would bring a million benefits to your drumming. Unquestionably, in any genre, you would be a better musician if you learned that record.
Yes.
But if you get a call tonight to learn, come out and play, and you got to learn all this shit, that is not conducive to your playing. You should have heard Everything Sucks by the Descendants, and that's the shit that you should have practiced.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have to, at some point when you're a musician, if this is what you do for a living, you have to, fuck, man, I know there's a lot of stuff, but I need to focus on what I think would be best for me. And also know that there's maybe not Kind of Blue, but work on So What one day only. You don't have to get too deep in the idiom of this, starting at a certain age with a certain set of responsibilities and priorities in your life, It's like skateboarding. At some point you're like, dude, I got to stop. I'm going to break my back. I got to break my ankle. It was fun while it lasted. Now I have to focus on what I need to focus on, longboarding or pickleball like me, because my knees hurt.
I like pickleball.
That's great. Pickleball is great. Yeah.
What would you tell a inspiring musician? What would you tell them how they can get into the music industry? What would you tell them?
I think this is such a great question. I think it's a combination of things. Authentic, two-way street friendships and relationships are monumental. You have to meet people and put yourself out there with the intent of adding value to their operation and adding value to their lives, and not as a transaction to see what you can get from them. That is a lose-lose situation, I think, or it might be good for a couple of things, but it's not sustainable. You need these people to get you the gigs. Yeah. I would say to try to befriend people that are not only your instrument. So if you're a drummer, befriend people that need drummers. If you're a keyboard player, befriend people that need keyboard players. And there's this idea that everybody tells you, like, oh, just don't be an asshole, right? Oh, just don't be an asshole. Nobody teaches you how not to be an asshole. And one of the main things, and I talk a lot about this in the sort of mentorship stuff that I do, but one of the main ways for you not to be an asshole is to be punctual and respect other people's time. That is the first thing that people, no matter if you're rude, if you burp, if you do this, if you have BO, but if you're late, you fuck it up for everybody.
Yeah.
And nobody wants, you can even deal with people with like political differences, but somebody that's late, so if you're trying to build, a brand and you're trying to build a reputation, there's no better way to do that than to be punctual and show up early and understand the sanctity of people's time beyond your own. And I think that will help so much for people, because none of the other things matter. You can be talented, you can do this, you can have all these other things, but you don't show up on time, you're going to be the person that doesn't show up on time. And they're going to, Yeah.
I'm sure you've been through sessions where they just really like even managers get involved.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, about a person being late or whatever, and it's just it does suck for everyone.
For everybody. And there's no better example for me than Amp Rehearsal Studios
Oh,
in North Hollywood.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So for those that don't know, AMP is like this, a rehearsal. Everybody has to go through AMP. It's a thing,
Hmm.
but it has the worst parking ever.
It does.
It's this alley, and then you walk in. It's like this cul-de-sac or this no man's land, and then you have to park five, six to the right, six to the left. So what do? You rehearse at 1. You show up at, I don't know, 12:55. Well, tough shit because the other band doesn't stop rehearsing till 1 o'clock. So by the time they come out and they take their fucking sweet ass time and they're hanging out and
Yep.
smoking a cigarette and they're bloating the thing and then they back up and then you have to back up and then you go in. Next thing you know, it's 1:20. And then what? You have to go with your fucking guitar pedals and you have to show up and then oh, sorry, man, I got to use the restroom. Oh, I didn't park. Oh, and then you go and next thing you know, you're starting at 1:30,
Yeah,
1:35.
yeah.
And then meanwhile, el pendejo that showed up, 20 minutes earlier, that parked across the street or whatever, you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it's frustrating. At the end of the day, they get paid the same as you and blah, blah, blah. They might be a better musician or a well-known musician, so on and so forth. But that is not truly sustainable for the common person.
Mm.
It's just really not. So show up 30 minutes before, find your parking, all that, all those bits and pieces of wisdom. But the umbrella is punctuality, I think.
Yes, preach, man. Come on, man. Yeah, preach.
Go.
That is the truth,
Go.
especially around ant rehearsal. Oh my,
Yes, especially there. Yeah.
yeah. Always parked across the street. Anyway,
Anyway, feed that meter, get some coins, just
it's
take a break
happening.
between songs, run to the meter, come back, like whatever.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh man. I'm gonna change things up real quick.
Yes.
Was there any questions you would like to ask me?
Yes,
Uh-oh.
sir.
Uh-oh.
So
I'm in
this can
trouble.
get deep, but
Okay.
for a lot of people don't know what we talked about. Will used to work at Guitar Center, and when you are a musician, there's this I'm looking for a specific word, stigma,
Hmm.
that if you work at a Guitar Center or you work in retail in music, you're doomed and you will never make it, or that it's for failed musicians, or it's for people that will never, has-beens or whatever. You are among the exceptions to that rule. You have made a badass career for yourself, playing, like I said, with Body Count, one of the most legendary bands out there, Offspring, and God knows how many others that you have done. The people that you have met, you have pictures with Lars Ulrich. I can only dream of having a picture with Lars, you bastard. Um, uh, and I'm curious to know, how has it been for you dealing with that potential pressure or hearing those things or those jokes that people would say or online, and how hard has that been for you? And also what you would say to somebody that might be in a situation where they have to work and they don't want to work in an office or they don't want to do this, but they love music. And they're like, fuck it, why don't I just work at Guitar Center? I'm going to be around music all the time, but people might be like, oh, well, it's for failed musicians or blah, blah, blah. What do you have to say with all that world, and illuminate for us what your life has been as it relates to going from Guitar Center to that Grammy behind you?
Oh man. Me personally, I have to thank Guitar Center personally. Um, the reason why I'm even saying that is because I would have never met all these great people, especially like you. Um, and I think it's all for me how I took it, because I ran with it on from the East Coast. And when I decided that I was going to move to LA, I decided to do a transfer over to Sherman Oaks store. Um, I didn't think I was going to meet the people that I was going to meet. I thought, me personally, I was going to get into some band, get signed, like everybody has that dream. Until, I started, the first thing, no, it wasn't the first thing. I got into this band and we were rehearsing a lot at Ant Rehearsal. Um, and then it started just to more network out of from the Guitar Center. For me, I think I was just trying to hustle, um, to try to meet as many people as I could, especially like meeting like Marvin Smitty Smith, Ray Lazier,
Yeah.
Chris Coleman, Thomas Persian, you. Uh,
Oh God.
no, I mean because really,
And we're all alive. Great. Yeah,
you
I'll take that. I'll take it.
but Louis Belson as well.
Oh,
Yeah, dude,
wow. You met Louis Belson.
I met Louis Belson there at that store.
Oh my God.
I was
He was
almost.
Nick Menza's godfather, by the way, in case you didn't know.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. That
Thank
the,
you.
the
Oh my
reason why Nick
wow.
plays drums is because of Louis Belson. He taught him when he was a child. Yeah. Don Menza, it was this jazz musician. I think he played sax. Was Nick Menza's father.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. I gotta tell
Anyway,
you,
but yeah.
I gotta tell you this story.
Yeah.
I was the only drum guy that was in there that knew who he was when he came in the shop.
Criminal.
Yeah. And it's like kind of insulting, really, who's that old guy? I'm like, you remember going down the stairs, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right? His poster's up there. I'm like, go down that stairs and look for Louis Belson. And that's why I gave him a hug.
Wow.
It was like a year later he passed.
Oh. Wow, dude. What a
I'm like,
player. What a player.
yeah. So I was lucky enough to give Louis Belson a hug.
Wow.
And that's what, oh man, this is
I
deep
get
for me,
chills, man.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. I got to meet legends like that. And that's what made me and be inspired by all these musicians that comes through that shop, especially that shop, when I was there. But yeah, man.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. But that's what made me wanted to keep going and get out of not really, get out of, Guitar Center or whatever, I just wanted to be around cool people, um, and just try to do the thing. And I told my first, store manager from Maryland, it was like, really, you really gonna try to get out there and do it? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And sure enough,
Yeah, man. You did it. Exactly.
I got that thing. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
amazing, dude. I'm so happy, proud of you, man. That's
thank you
awesome.
so much, man. But man, I can say really, I was proud of you. Did you? I don't know if this was you or not. You were out with the Jonas Brothers, right? Did you make a conga that was the Eddie Van Halen?
Yes,
That was that
that was me. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Hold on.
I thought
Oh,
that was oh man. Okay, all right, dude.
yeah, man. This is it.
That's when I was like, oh, I'm so proud of
It's my baby. It's my baby.
dude. I was like, that is sick.
Thank you.
That
Thank you.
was so sick. And
That's
that's
the
like,
only piece of equipment that I'm like, that's like in my heart. Every cymbal I can deal without, every drum set, every snare drum, I don't care. This is the one, and it could also be recreated, but the whole process was really special. And I did this before he passed, 2 or 3 years before he passed. That was the whole idea, was I wanted to pay tribute to, imagine like you with Louis Belson, and at some point you're like, yeah, I want to have like a whatever type of drum set he used. who I think was the first guy that really truly used double bass drums.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did this. I love Van Halen. I love guitars, and yeah, we were at a third encore, and LP sent these white congas, and we painted. We painted them, and then we rolled them down the parking lot, and then we painted them again, and then we rolled them down the parking lot, and we painted them again, and so yeah, this is the only piece of like truly custom sort of equipment that I own that I love, man. It's my favorite. I'm glad that you like it.
Oh man, I loved it. I was proud of you of
Thanks,
even
man.
doing that, man. I was like, dude, this dude's doing it, man. You know, like
Thank you. That means more than you can imagine, because I
oh,
love that. And shout out obviously to Eddie, and
yeah,
without him, none of the stuff that we listen to would probably be a thing. So
that is definitely true.
yeah.
Anything you wanna plug for yourself?
Oof. I will say thank you for allowing me to do this, by the way.
Yeah.
I would say if anybody is interested in music lessons, I can do either private lessons, or you can go to lessonswithdemian.com, and you can see these courses that I've created that are somewhat niche courses in percussion. You have a shakers course if you ever wanted to learn proper shakers, tambourine, which is free and you can take, and I would love for people to take it and give me their feedback so I know what to do, what not to do. And there's other courses there, a conga course, a handpan course, and I'm putting up a new course for any of those people that say that they don't have rhythm, or they don't know where to begin, or they've always wanted to play drums, they don't know where to start. I'm going to show you how to do that. And that's, and also for more of this type of talk, advice type of stuff, I definitely do mentoring sessions for anybody that might be interested. But you can also go to unsolicitedmusicadvice.com, and it will forward you to my Substack, where I talk about all these topics that we've touched upon. Moving to a new city, punctuality, versatility, and all these other things. I just did one on the imposter syndrome a week ago, and then when we get off, I'm going to go do another one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of try to impart as much knowledge as I can. You and I have been very privileged to learn all these things, sometimes the hard way, sometimes they've been taught us by us through, whether it's Louis Belson or Richie Kotzen or whoever.
Yeah.
And it could be a time bomb, or it could be a love bomb. And if we make
Right.
it be a love bomb and we spread it, so yeah, man, anybody that might be interested, amazing. And that's what I got, man.
Man, everybody check this guy out, man.
Thank you.
I'm serious. The other cool thing about this guy, what I also loved when I saw this on your social media was about the chimes.
Thank you.
That was the best thing ever. Like it's like, people, please,
Yeah.
like
You never know in this world where we have to kind of put out content. You never know what's going to stick, what's going to be. Not that it went viral, but a lot of people reach out. They're like, "Oh, dude, yes, somebody finally said it." All these percussionists, and
yes.
those damn guitar players are always wanting to play, whatever. So it was pretty funny, but I'm so glad you dug it, man. That's great. Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, man. Man, unfortunately, yeah, I got to wrap up.
No
man,
worries, man. No worries.
But ladies and gentlemen, Demian.
Thank you, Will. Thanks for having me. Thanks to Steve. Thanks to your whole team.
Oh,
Super professional. I appreciate all the info you gave, all the, all the pre-production stuff. I appreciate you, as always. Proud of you, man. And I can't wait to see you in person. I got to come watch you play, man. What about you? When are you playing? Are you playing in LA anytime soon?
No, not right now, but yeah.
Well, when you do,
we need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to be on an album together. The new Body Count needs some sort of congas or shakers or whatever. We'll make it work.
That'd be sick.
Let's do it.
That would be sick.
Let's do it.
All right. Dude,
all right, my friend.
Man, much love, man. Much love, man.
Thank
Take
you.
it easy.
See you soon, man. Peace.
Right, bye.
Cheers.
Hey, did you know that we have a website, Talk Music Podcast with Will Dorsey Jr.? We got all kinds of stuff on there, man. Check it out. Got some cool swag on there, like a sweatshirt or a hoodie or a coffee mug. Man, if you can just go on there and just check it out and see what you think, man, it would help me out, But yeah, check out the gear. Hope you like it. and support Talk Music Podcast with Will Dorsey Jr. Thanks. Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Will Dorsey Jr. of Talk Music Podcast. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button. That little red button on there, just hit it. That will help me out tremendously. If you can also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, that will also help me. And if you wanted to download our podcast on Apple or Google or Amazon or even Spotify, you can check us out on there. Hope you guys enjoy the show.
Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, E-Record Studio, the new way musicians rehearse, record, and share their E-Record sessions on social media. Visit ERS on erecordstudio.com. Download this amazing app on Google and Apple Apps stores.
Visit us on www.talkmusicpodcast.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast on Apple, Google, Amazon, and Spotify.